passion in the bedroom finally came to an end 2 hours later. Soon, there was the sound of water splashing on tiles coming from the shower. After resting for a few minutes, Noelle Swanson got out of bed, with trembling legs as she picked up her clothes from the floor. Hendrix Freeman had been rougher than usual today, so she felt a little bewildered. She fumbled with the buttons of her pajamas several times, but couldn't get them done up. Soon, Hendrix came out of the shower. He was tall, with strong, handsome features. He just showered, so he only had a towel wrapped around his waist at the moment. Droplets of water trickled down his abs. When he noticed that Noelle was still there, he frowned a little. Noelle didn't look at him. She kept her head down and continued to struggle with the buttons. Sandra will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow, Hendrix suddenly said as he walked past her. Go pick her up. I've already promised your mother that she can stay here for a while. No's hands that were buttoning her pajamas froze. Then, she turned to look at Hendrix, who was behind her. He was her husband of 2 years, Hendrix Freeman, the successor of Amity Group. The woman he mentioned was No's adopted sister, Sandra Swanson. When Noelle was 5 years old, she went missing in an amusement park. She was separated from the Swanson family and was only brought back when she reached the age of 16. By then, her parents had another daughter, Sandra. No's father, Craig Swanson, had explained to her solemnly about their decision to adopt another girl. During the time when Noelle went missing, her mother, Matilda Lyle, was often dazed and couldn't function normally. Out of desperation, Craig adopted a girl from an orphanage. When Noelle was finally found, their family was reunited. But life after the reunion wasn't as pleasant as one might have expected. Noelle had grown up in a rural farming village during those 10 years when she was gone. Sandra, on the other hand, had been raised by the Swansons. As a result, she mastered dance, painting, and playing the piano due to exceptional nurturing from a young age. More importantly, the Swanson family had a prearranged engagement agreement with the Freeman family. In other words, Hendrix' fiancée had always been Sandra before Noelle returned. Hendrix and Sandra were childhood sweethearts. But all of that was disrupted by No's sudden return. As Noelle recalled the past, she became lost in thought. However, she quickly regained her composure and abandoned her battle with the buttons. She simply pulled her clothes together and said, "All right." With that, she got up and left the room. Her bedroom was at the end of the hallway. On their wedding night, Hendrix had told her he wasn't used to sharing a bed with someone. Noelle understood what he was insinuating immediately. So, she hadn't bothered unpacking her things. Without a word, she went to the guest room at the end of the hall with her suitcase, and stayed there. Noelle was very perceptive. Even when Hendrix hadn't even bothered to inform her in advance that Sandra would be staying with them, she wouldn't ask him any questions. After all, this was his house. Even if he decided to replace the lady of the house, no one would say a word, let alone a guest coming over to stay. As his wife, Noelle had no right to speak either. The next day, Noelle drove to the hospital. As she stood outside the hospital room, the first thing she heard was voices coming from inside. "So, is Mr. Freeman coming to pick you up today?" "I'm not sure," Sandra replied softly. "He's always so preoccupied with work. I doubt he'll come." "That's not for sure. You're special to him. If Noelle hadn't shown up back then, you would have become Mrs. Freeman. Everyone in our circle knows that Hendrix likes you." Chapter 2. The person speaking was Sandra's good friend, Ruth Upton. She was the heiress of a wealthy family. Ruth and Sandra had grown up together. She had always been the biggest supporter of Hendrix and Sandra's relationship. Now that Noelle had become Hendrix's wife instead, it came as no surprise that Ruth was unfriendly toward her. Even when she noticed Noelle standing at the door, she didn't feel the least bit embarrassed or uneasy about what she'd said. It was Sandra who greeted her first. "You're here, Noelle?" Noelle nodded. "I'm here to take you home. Have you packed your things?"